So, in case you didn't hear this story, I think this is something that needs to sort of be brought to your attention. And when I say you, if you have a child in school or if you are in school, this is it's kind of shock. In June 2022, the CAC government appointed Quebec's first ever student ombudsman responsible for defending the quote rights of the approximately 1.3 million students and their parents in the province unquote. Since then, his office, the Ombudsman's office, has received over 1,000 complaints from students and parents, the most common being sexual violence complaints, followed by intimidation and violence. Yet to now, up until now, a report on the findings has not even been forthcoming. Marwah Rizquy is the Liberal MNA for Saint-Laurent. She's also the official opposition critic on education. She is on the line. Marwah, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, and a very good back to school to everyone.
Yeah, well, until you see numbers like this and think to yourself, wow, what's going on and why have we not heard anything about this until this story came out in the Journal de Quebec? So let me ask you, first of all, did you have any idea that the situation was this bad?
Absolutely, because 2 years ago, I did ask all the data to the government, but also to different school boards of Quebec. And at the time, I noticed and I produced a report saying that in almost every region of Quebec, the number of violent acts in school doubled or even tripled. That was not only in Montreal, that was true in Laval, that was also true in Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, Quebec City, les Îles-de-la-Madeleine. And I asked the government to hold a forum so we can discuss and try to find solutions to reduce the number of acts of violence. And unfortunately, I have to remind you that we had the very problematic case in Saint-Laurent when we had different basketball coaches who got arrested for sexual misconduct. And since then, I've been advocating to the government that we need to do much more because, unfortunately, the number is only a little percentage because we have to keep in mind that to have that data from the ombudsman is because someone went through the entire process to press a complaint. But some of them just go silently and will never press any charges or any complaint.
Right. So the number is conceivably even higher than this. I understand that.
100% sure.
I know you, and I hear your little baby there, so that's okay. If you're busy, just step away.
No,
Are
it's
you, are you
okay.
okay? Okay.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I know you sent an open letter to Bernard Dranville, to the education minister. What are you asking?
I'm asking you to have a sit-down meeting with him and the ombudsman because these numbers are very important to me. When we're saying that 20% of the cases are sexual violence or intimidation, it's a lot. And Aaron, you've been hosting this show for quite some time, and you can imagine the last 3 years we saw so many videos of the kids, of the students going to school, and the videos that we show is very important violent act. Some of the kids unfortunately died in the last 2 years. I'm not saying that this is the average everywhere in Quebec. I'm saying, unfortunately, it did happen, and it should not happen in Quebec because we do have a lot of resources, but we have to make sure that we have these resources in school and also for the parents because sometimes we don't have enough at home to support the kids when there's too much anger.
So I will point out, it's one thing to appoint an ombudsman. Obviously, you address the situation that way, but then to not have anything. And I understand there is a report. It will be out sometime. Is it this year or next year?
I asked Bernard to publish a report as soon as possible. We need to have a sit-down meeting because we cannot wait. According to the law, the report has to be done every 5 years for the ombudsman. But this is way too long, and we need to act very quickly. We cannot just say, okay, we have the data, and now what we're doing. The parents, they need to know it's a safe environment for the kids. And right now, unfortunately, we just know that there is too many cases that needs to be addressed very quickly.
All right. So besides asking for the report to come out, and obviously you've heard from parents, I'm sure, during the course of this, the past couple of years since this ombudsman has been in place, with as far as specific actions are concerned, as I said, it's great to have an ombudsman. What do you want to see happen here beyond a report being released? What does the government need to do?
I'll give you an example. So many times parents reach out to me because something happened to their kids. Let's say it was a sexual misconduct. Do you know how many times the victim was asked to change school? Almost all the time, it's the victim who has to change school. And Why is the victim? I asked the government to implement something like in France. What they've done, it was a task force with the Minister of Education, Public Safety, and also the Minister of Justice. So enough is enough. If you are doing something very bad, let's say sexual misconduct in school, or worse, you actually beat up another student, how come you have multiple chances to go to the same school? Why we do not protect more the victim?
And do you have an answer? I know you just sent the letter to Bernard Dranville. What has he said? Has there been a response?
So far, Mr. Dranville always said that they're going to start with the ombudsman and they're going to work towards to make sure the data. But as I told Bernard, I gave you the data back in January 23rd, 2023, proving that after the pandemic, the number of cases of violence raised by double almost everywhere in Quebec, including in the riding of the Premier, Mr. Legault. In L'Assomption, it's almost 3 times more violent act in school than anywhere else in Quebec. I mean, if you're the Premier of Quebec and you hear the data about your school, you should act.
Yeah. Look, we're going to leave it at that. Again, I do hope that Bernard Dranville does address this. As I said, I think for people hearing these statistics, it's quite eye-opening and not in a good way. This is shocking to hear that cases like this continue to be reported and find out that nothing is being done. And to your point, Marwah, about the victim here being forced to move schools. I mean, I think, as you said, for a lot of people, that doesn't make any sense at all. They've done nothing wrong, yet they're the ones forced to make a change.
Absolutely. And if I may add something, if you're a victim of anything and you see that your school doesn't do anything, because sometimes we hear the parents, like, I went to school to report a violent act to my kid and nothing was done. My son was bullied for multiple years, nothing was done. Well, call your M&A. Your M&A has a job to do. He has to step up for you, and if he has to call your school, he has to do it. This is my job as an M&A, and I've done it multiple times for different parents.
All right.
Yes, it works.
I'm going to ask you one last thing, which has nothing to do with any of this, because this is what we do. There's a new Léger poll out today talking about the Liberal leadership, the provincial Liberal leadership, and it still has Denis Coderre, but barely ahead of Pablo Rodriguez, who hasn't, of course, officially declared yet, with Charles Milliard, I think, running fourth, and Fred Beauchemin not doing so good. I think he's at 1%. But I heard Marc Tanguay, the interim Liberal leader, actually say today when he was reacting to this, he hopes women or more women decide to run. So, Marwah, I hear the little baby with you, and I know you've already said in the past you're concentrating on raising your family. Has anything changed for you?
Absolutely not, except I'm very, very happy. Honestly, with 2 under 2, kudos to all the parents out there. I'm trying to manage right now
Okay, I get it.
my little life. And no, Aaron, but I'll be delighted to come back to your show. But no, I won't run. I will just run after my own kids.
You have anyone that you would think as a woman would be a good candidate to run?
I did reach out to other women that I feel like they could actually run, but they're like almost in the same position as me with a young family, and that is a concern. And I totally understand when they're telling me, Marwah, I have also a young family. It's not a good time for me. So I'm not in a good place to tell them to do it. If even me, I'm not doing it.
Okay. Marwah, as always, I appreciate your time. Say hi to Greg for me. And who's the little person with you there who we hear? Abraham. Say hi to Abraham. Hi, Abraham. Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm waving on the radio because I know he can see me. Marwah, thank you so much. Take good care.
Thank you.